Hi everyone! So I was supposed to share this video yesterday on New Year's Eve, but life was kind of hectic, so I didn't get to posting. So instead I'll share it today, along with the other video for specifically today that I will be recording in a few minutes. So since it's the new year, I am taking a short break from the traditional kind of Christmas hymns and instead sharing two hymns that are listed under the New Year section in my hymnal. And the first hymn of those is called Das Jahr geht still zu Ende. The year is quietly ending would be the translation of that title. The text was written by Eleonore von Reuss. I couldn't really find much information about her, which is slightly disappointing because all the male authors and composers I could find plenty of information about. But she was born in about 1835 in Geht, which is just over an hour northeast of Frankfurt. And she died in 1903 in Ilsenburg, which is about an hour and 20 minutes southeast of Hanover. She married the younger Prince von Reuss, which is where she got her last name, but returned to her elderly mother after he died. After she came back from that marriage, she was engaged in her local congregation pretty much right up until her death. So she wrote the text for today's hymn in response to finding out about the death of her friend on Christmas Eve. And she talks about the hopes for eternal life and kind of seeing her friend again. And she wrote a number of other texts as well, both hymns and prose, but none of those are really all that well known. The melody actually is taken from another hymn called Befiehl du deine Wege, which was written by Bartholomäus Gesius. Gesius was born in about 1562, although some estimates put that to as early as 1555, close to Frankfurt at the Oder, which is at the very eastern border of Germany. So we actually have two Frankfurts in Germany. One of them is the one with the big airport, and then there's the one in eastern Germany. And he was born in the one in eastern Germany. He apparently matriculated at the University of Frankfurt an der Oder in eastern Germany as early as 1775, but he definitely started studying there in 1778. He also temporarily worked as the cantor or organist in Müncheberg and started composing around that time. And he also worked as the personal teacher to a duke in eastern Germany. Eventually, he became the organist at a big church in Frankfurt an der Oder, and he stayed there until his death. He got married at one point and apparently had 7 children, but he later died of the plague when I believe some of his children were pretty young still. So he composed arrangements for hymns and a very impressive St. John's Passion, apparently, as well as a St. Matthew's Passion, which appeared the year that he died. And a bunch of his other masses and compositions also made it into print. So the hymn in my hymnal has 6 different stanzas, but I will only sing 2, I think. And the translation of those 2 goes as follows. The year is silently ending. Now also be calm, my heart. I lay all my happiness and pain in God's hands. Also what this year has seen, what only God the Lord knows, the tears that flowed and the wounds burning hot. That we may not forget what is so easily forgotten, that this poor earth is not our home. The Lord has all of us that were baptized in God's name, bought the right to make our home in Zion's golden halls. So, fun fact, research says that about 50% of Americans make New Year's resolutions, but halfway through January, 25% have already abandoned their resolutions. And I feel like lots of organizations and companies also kind of capitalize on our resolutions to get our money, which most of our resolutions I feel like are often based on our own unhappiness with ourselves, especially things like weight loss resolutions. So perhaps a resolution that we should make this year instead is to find small things that we love about ourselves. I know it's often difficult to get to the point where you're like, yeah, I love myself, the entirety of it. But maybe find small things every day that you like about yourself and remind yourself of those. So with that said, let's go into the hymn. Das Jahr geht still zu Ende, nun sei auch still mein Herz. In Gottes treue Hände leg ich nun Freud und Schmerz. Und was dies Jahr umschlossen, was Gott der Herr nur weiß, die Tränen, die geflossen, die Wunden brennend heiß. Dass nicht vergessen werde, was man so gern vergisst, dass diese arme Erde nicht unsere Heimat ist. Es hat der Herr uns allen, die wir auf ihn getauft, in Zions goldenen Hallen ein Heimatrecht erkauft. So that was the first hymn for today, and stay tuned for the second one.